Congratulations, Malcolm, to your right. So did you go to sleep last night and have that vision in your head there?
Yeah, so I just got to give a big kudos to my team, man. The past 3-4 fights, we've had a game plan and a vision for the exact way we was going to finish fights, and the same thing happened tonight. Working the jab, he's got a leaping, open, wide left hook, and coming over the top with the right hand. I had a couple interviews before the fight, and I even told him it was going to be a right hand, and I saw it, and I landed it.
Did he, he kind of just left it out there. He didn't really zing it at you. Is that kind of why you were able to connect as hard as you did?
Absolutely, man. He has a very rhythmic kind of style. He throws things in a very similar way on the same type of cadence, and that's what I was looking for. We saw it many times in the footage, and when he came out in real time and put it out there after I worked it on mitts over and over and over, it was there for me.
After you knock him out and you have to sit there through, 3 more fights and all that stuff, you have to know you're in, but what's the emotion as you're sitting there? Were there butterflies? Was it like, oh my God? Because you just want to know, right?
I'm still in a dream right now. I'm up here with a microphone in my hand that got the UFC on it, answering questions with these lights and cameras, man. It's unreal. I still feel like it's a dream. So it's going right now, and whenever it stops, I guess I'll get back in training camp and wait for a phone call.
So you're from Augusta, Georgia. So I didn't know MMA was big down there.
It's not. It's about to be though. Yeah, the MMA scene in Augusta is still developing for sure, man. And what I did today, I really hope can elevate the MMA scene in Augusta and uplift the community where I'm from.
What has the struggle to make it been like, right? Everybody has their own stories. They're coming up through the regional scene. For you, have there been times you wanted to quit, or has it been a difficult journey to get to where you are?
Yeah, man, that's difficult is an understatement, and I don't doubt that anybody that gets to this level fights hard to get here. But man, I'm 30 years old. I didn't start training until I was 22. I didn't have any jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, not a single lesson at any school or from any coaches. And the guys that taught me to throw my first punch, I stayed with these guys, and I made it to the big stage with these guys. And you talking about 7 years in my late adult life. I was going to wrestling practices as a grown man after work, getting put on my back by high schoolers. It was insane, and just all the things around it. Working a full-time job. I'm in construction. I'm a pipe fitter. Hard work days, 10-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, and finding time to still get in there. Hoping that my family, my friends understand my lack of ability to keep my connection with them tight because I'm trying to pursue something so demanding alongside trying to pay my bills. It's been a tough 7-8 years, man, and like I said, it's a dream right now.
What made you do it at 22 years old? Because you got to think at 22 years old, the odds of you making the major leagues, right, are probably pretty low. So what was it that spurred you to try?
I wanted to get in shape. I was getting fat. So I was getting fat, man, and I walked into this gym so I could learn to defend myself and get in shape at the same time. And I just didn't know that the team that picked me up was going to convince me I could do something great. They made me believe in myself. They gave me these skills, this confidence, and they built me as a fighter and a man. And that's who I am today, and that's why I accomplished what I did.
How long was it before you were good? Because you hear stories of people walk in the gym and they get beat up and they're discouraged, but they keep coming back the next day. For you, how was it? Were you good right away, or were you getting pummeled?
No, I got dropped on my first day. My coaches, they gave me the work, and they still give me the work. And it was a while before I feel like I got good. I took a kickboxing match, a little less than a year after training. And when I made my MMA debut a year after that, around 23 years old, I knocked out a high school state champ wrestler, and that's when I started realizing, I really had it.
Not that this has anything to do with MMA, but have you ever played Augusta National?
No, but my coach, Jake, works there, and he is the plug. We've been traveling the country, and that's the first thing he throw at him. That he work at that golf course, and we good after that.
Malcolm, I just wanted to ask you, man, you had a long amateur career, and a lot of fighters nowadays, 1, 2, maybe 3 amateur, and then they go pro. Why did you take your time fighting so many amateur fights?
The simplest answer is because my coaches made me. You know what I mean? I was tired of fighting for free, but my coaches, they wanted me to develop to a certain level before I went pro. and that's been their approach across the board with all of our amateur athletes. And when I went pro, I hit the ground running. You know, I got like, 6, 7 fights back to back to back. I was getting, knockouts and finishes and being able to take tough fights and put on good performances. And the long wait paid off on the back end. So
Yeah, so you said it's hindsight's 2020, and it all made sense.
yes, sir, absolutely.
And 2 years into your pro career, you're in the UFC. Did you have a vision that would happen, or is it just still kind of fucking surreal?
It's still surreal. I'm telling you, man. This was not in the cards for me. Like 7 years ago, when I walked in that gym, you wasn't gonna point at me and say he's gonna be in the UFC. I was so far from it because of the person who I was and the way I grew up and all the things around it. So to be here today is just it's incredible, man. It's surreal.
It's a quick finish. Relative, you look like you took no damage. I know it was a long camp to get here, but when would you like to turn around and have your UFC debut?
As soon as a good opportunity comes across, I'm waiting by the phone. My coach is gonna listen to the offers. My coach is Jason House, gonna sit down and get back in there and try to do another knockout.
So ASAP.
ASAP.
Congrats.
Thank you, brother.
Malcolm, the beginning of your journey sounds very exhaustive, not only physically, but mentally, probably emotionally. When you kind of look back on all that, what do you feel like helped you keep moving forward, not giving up and feeling like this is worth pursuing?
My team, my coaches, my camp, my team, I've been around the same guys since I started. And aside from that, I found a family in them. I experienced like lake trips, getting on boats, tubing with them for the first time. I've never done none of that stuff. So like even holidays, just the way that they celebrate and they bring me everywhere. They treat me like their own. Pops call me one of his boys, just like the other ones, And when I was going through all my dark times, relationships, financial problems, everything like that, they picked me up. And the thing that we held on to was fighting together. That's really my family. Whether I was fighting or not, they was gonna be family to me. So it being the thing that we had, they made me believe that it was gonna be worth it. And here we are.
I'm sure after tonight, a lot of people know your name. But prior to tonight, if you were to describe yourself and then introduce yourself to somebody, what would you say who you are?
I'm just a guy from Augusta, Augusta, Georgia, 706, born and raised, and I'm working, paying my bills. Yeah, 706 on my own, working to pay my bills, and I'm training at night with the bros. And that's really all it was. And now it's become, me getting a knockout on the UFC platform, and it's such a blessing.
Congrats on the contract.
Thank you, brother.
Well done, sir. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm kind of curious. You see guys get that one-hitter quitter, but then just go for this follow-up, almost like the Jorge Masvidal, Ben Askren thing. Like, he's out. And then the follow-up shots. How were you able to keep that restraint?
I'm gonna be honest with you. That was probably the first time I hit somebody and just didn't follow up, to secure the win. But I was just in a different mental place tonight. I felt that it was the shot I envisioned, and when it happened, I just knew it was over. I saw the way he fell down, and I didn't even feel the need to, adjust my stance for ground and pound. I just knew it was done and over with, and yeah, no follow up needed.
That's what's up, man.
Thank you.
There's, there'll be so many woulda, couldas, people watching you right now like, man, he started late, like what you were talking about with Kevin. What's the message to the people who might be 22 or older? Antonio Tarver started even later than that, still became a champion. Now you're here. What's the message to that little boy, little girl that says, nah, I'm okay? Or an adult human being that's like, it's too late for me, but you just proved so many people wrong.
Man, I've been saying this for a long time, and I believe it in my heart that with the right work ethic and the right people around you, you can accomplish anything in the world. If those people around you are there to pick you up, motivate you, and push you in the right direction, and make sure all your adversity affects you in the right way, and you put the work ethic behind it, you stay consistent, man, you can do anything. Because, like I said, this wasn't in the cards for me, and I'm here today, so I'm grateful.
That's awesome, man. And just for fun, besides the congratulations, big fight coming up in your weight class, Merab or Sugar Sean? Give me a little pick analysis.
I want to see Sean O'Malley do it.
Right on, my man. Congrats and welcome to the UFC, sir.
Thank you so much.